What advice would our traders have for investors if it's happening and you're watching it and you've got some investments here? To the floor show and our traders. All right, I want to get to you, Sarge, first. You were there. You endured the flash crash. What do you say to investors who start to watch it? And by the way, we're not saying it's going to happen, but, you know, J.P. Morgan is.
Yeah, but you do have to pay attention to it. All right, now stocks are up about 8% this year.
Yeah.
Forward-looking valuations were about 18.3 for the S&P 500 coming into the year. They're down to 16.9. You see auto sales trending sideways. You see home sales trending sideways. So there is a little bit of a liquidity contraction here. The Fed, they're going to raise rates in 3 weeks. They're probably going to raise rates in 3 months, and they're going to add $10 billion to their quantitative tightening program in October. So this means to me, you got to make sure you have some gold, some physical gold in your portfolio. I know I'm a stocks guy. You know what? I say 7.5% to anyone who asks. For the retail investor, you guys, you have to worry about your roof. You have to worry about your boiler. You need 20% cash. Don't worry about the dollar being worthless, all right? The rest of the world will be more worthless. So the U.S. dollar will have value. And then make sure you have 14 to 15% of your portfolio in bonds, mostly quality bonds.
Gotcha. Okay. You know, it's funny that you say it's not funny, but you right now have a collapsing Turkish lira, the Brazilian real, Argentinian peso, real problems there right now. So he's right. No matter how bad the dollar gets, maybe the dollar is the best thing going. Phil Flynn, you too endured the flash crash and watched it happen. And before we all really blinked in the grand scheme of things, it was over. But let's say we were to endure one right now from some type of headline that hits the tape. You know, how would you advise investors to react? Sit tight? Do anything?
Yeah. Well, I think the Sarge was right. I mean, in that type of a situation, you're going to see a flight to quality in bonds. You're going to see panic. And even in that type of a situation, we'll see gold. But, you know, when I read that Morgan Stanley article,
yes.
It really was so doomy and gloomy, like, oh, my gosh, you know, this could cause social unrest. And it's like, what the heck are they talking about? You know, since the last flash crash, which I was on the air, I think, when that started with you and David back in that day. You go back to that, they've made so many changes. We have circuit breakers in place. We have pauses in place. So, listen, the market could crash before we even had computers, okay? So there could be a situation where things get really bad at some point, the world's falling apart, and the computers may exasperate it. But,
Scott,
you know, the big thing, it's not keeping me up.
Scott, give us your advice.
That's why I love Phil so much, because he just breaks this down so well. I agree there. You know, this is not supposed to be apocalyptic. It's not supposed to be Chicken Little. It's just a warning of something that could potentially happen. And if it does, you know, we have to be ready for it in the sense of being ready for any other sell-off that we might have. If you're still invested in this marketplace, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, volatility is still so cheap. There's no reason why we can't buy protection ahead of time and just keep rolling that protection out there. So again, this shouldn't be seen as something that is apocalyptic. The evolution of online trading and computerized algorithmic trading, it's still evolving. But like Phil said, circuits are now in place. It's a different time. And you know what? Investors will react to it, shouldn't get panicked.
Yeah, and by the way, anybody can buy a stock and build in a collar or a sell moment, you know, a level that they can pick where even if they're not watching the stock and sell or buy, for that matter. You buy when things are cheap. Good to see you guys. Boeing, let's take a look. It's flying high.